That's where my members hang out. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday morning, and it's actually, there's a lovely pink tinge to the sky that seems to have gone and been replaced by grey this morning. And this morning's meditation, we're going to do something a little bit different because I want us to think about thoughts. And the reason for that is because one of the biggest challenges, hello, whoever's over on Facebook, it won't tell me who you are. One of the things with our thoughts is that they have this tendency to just take over, and that we become so caught up in thoughts that it clouds our day, and it makes it hard to pay attention. It disrupts things that we try and get done. I know for me, I remember I used to be such an overthinker that I would just get so lost in my own mind that it was really invasive. It would just get in the way of me being able to get on with my life, and I would never know when I was gonna have a bout of it. You know, I'd be lying in bed and just trying to get to sleep, and my mind would just be in just overdrive, and it felt like I was just powerless against the onslaught. And it was exhausting, actually, and relentless, and it just stopped me from enjoying life. But I was so used to that being how I experienced things that I actually didn't realize there would be any other way. That it felt like, well, I don't have a choice. My mind just does what it wants. What we do with meditation, what we start to see is that we can actually have an impact on the way we process thoughts. Morning, Helen. Morning, Annie. And by doing that, we don't have to try and force the thoughts to go anywhere, and we're not trying to change them or dispute them or get involved with them. We're just trying to change our relationship with them so they don't have as much power to hook us. And one of the ways we can do that is to start to observe them as if they were just another object in the meditation. So the same way we might sort of be curious about the sensations in our body and just notice what they are, and not get caught up in, are they good, are they bad, but just notice them. You know, the shape, you know, what does it feel like? Is it warm, is it cold? We can kind of do that with our thoughts, almost turn them into an object, as if we were like a curious scientist who's never seen thoughts before. And so that's what we're going to do in our practice today. Is we're still going to focus on our attention through the practice, and train our capacity to choose where we pay attention, so that we can build that muscle in our mind, if you like, for being present and calm and having clarity. And then we're also going to allow the spotlight to be on whatever thoughts come up. So instead of trying to just let them pass through or just ignore them and come back to what we're focusing on, we're instead, if a thought comes up, we'll just be kind of examining it and looking at, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What shape is it? And then just being curious about that. And sometimes what you find when you do this exercise is that, firstly, it's interesting what you notice when you see your thoughts that way. That it's like, wow, I had no idea that I experienced my thoughts like that. And also, what can happen is that by making it that actually you want thoughts to be there, you actually were looking for them because you want to focus on them and just examine them like that. Weirdly, it's like they become really slippery and they disappear, and suddenly you find that, oh, hang on, there aren't any thoughts, which obviously is a pleasant thing to experience. So let's hello, there's a third person over on Facebook. I can't see who you are. So we're going to start as usual, and we'll start with the breath as a way to land us in this moment. And I'm a bit rustly in this jacket because it's not windproof, and I'm going to pop my hood up and look a bit bizarre just because it stops the vision. It's Tiff. Hi, Tiff, and Judith as well. Morning. We're going to lean into some thoughts, guys. So I'm going to pop my hood up so that the wind doesn't take my sound away, because I foolishly didn't charge either my laptop or my AirPod case last night. So we're on like borrowed time with battery life today. So hopefully we will get through. And if I disappear and it's suddenly silent, no, I'm kidding. I've got enough for the meditation, I believe, I hope. So gently closing down eyes, and just have a really good, with your eyes closed, a really good movement in your body, like stretch out your arms and just start to get into your body by moving it. So flex and stretch the toes and the wrists. You just have a little bit of a twist in your body from side to side, so that you're looking over your right shoulder and then your left shoulder, and almost like curve your back and then straighten your back. So and then with your head just looking down or looking up. Just movement can be a great way to start getting into our body. And then land and settle and find that stillness. And just begin to notice the body settling, the breath rising and falling in your body. Notice if your breath, if you start breathing more deeply as you pay attention. Notice how the cool air enters the nostrils. And how it's slightly warmer as it leaves the nostrils or the mouth. And if you can, breathe in and out through the nose. As we breathe in and out through the nose and we allow the breath to slow down without forcing it, the body naturally follows suit with finding a place of stillness and calm. And maybe it takes a moment, but gradually the breath will lead the way. Notice the rise and fall high up in the chest if there is any there. Noticing the collarbone. Noticing the heart space. It almost lifts forward and up. But we expand outwards and up. In fact, our whole body almost rises up towards the sky and in front of us as we breathe. We rise and we fall. And there's a rhythm that we don't need to create. The body's breathing for you. And you just watching. And then noticing lower down where the rib cage joins the tummy. The belly rising and falling. As you notice the breath, beginning to notice the arms relaxing, the legs relaxing. And you can let go just a little bit more in the body. Notice the jaw, the eye socket, the forehead. Your body doing what it needs to do, breathing. And to anchor yourself to the breath and to this moment, we'll gently note the rising and falling of the body. So as the body breathes in, just noting rising in your mind, just softly and gently. And as you breathe out, it's falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. Coming back anytime the mind wanders, which it will. Just knowing that every time you come back, the mind's learning how to be still. Releasing stress from your system. And each time increasing your capacity to hold more stress and release it. Rising, falling. And now, as we watch the breath rise and fall, instead of labeling the rising and falling of the breath, we'll begin to be curious about our thoughts. So now, if a thought arises in the mind, instead of returning to the breath and allowing it to pass, we'll stop and pay attention, doing the opposite of what we normally do. And instead of getting caught up in what the thought's about, we're going to look at it as if it was an object. So where do you feel the thought when you feel it? When a thought comes, is it inside your head? Is it the front of the head or the back of the head? Where exactly is the thought or train of thoughts? Does it have a color? Is it contained within the body, or is it in the air in front of you or somewhere else? Do you feel the thought anywhere else in the body when you pay attention to it? Are there sensations that go with the thought? Is it warm or cold? Is it soft or rough or smooth? What's the texture of the thought? And if the thoughts are slippery and as you pay attention they disappear, that's okay, just wait for another. One thing we know about our mind is it will always bring us more. Can you see the edges of the thought? Can you reach around it and see it from all angles? Is it solid? Or is it more liquid? Or is it like a gas? And now we'll begin to the throat flow through again. Rises in the mind. Just gently note thinking, thinking, thinking until it passes. And if you notice sensations in your body, you can just note sensation, sensation, rather than getting caught up in what the sensation is or what's causing it or how you feel about it. And if there's sounds that become the most obvious thing in your awareness, just labeling it hearing, hearing, hearing. So now whatever arises, we don't need to do anything or make it go. We just notice what's there and just label it. Thinking, sensation, hearing. And now gently return your attention to the breath. Noticing that rising and falling again, whatever your experience has been, whether it's been thought-filled or there's been spaces without thoughts. We know that by closing our eyes and turning inwards, we are making a difference to the way our nervous system responds to the world for the rest of our day. So we'll take 3 bigger than usual breaths to just remind ourselves to be breathing more deeply and keeping calm and clear in our day. So breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. Making a slight whisper sound if you can. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the nose. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the nose. And then returning to normal breath. And we began with movement, and so we'll end with movement. So keeping your eyes closed, just moving your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles, rotating them, stretching the arms behind you and up. Maybe having a yawn if that feels good. And then gently blinking open the eyes. And now, often when we have our community sessions, our membership sessions, this type of meditation, people have such different experiences, and it's always really great to talk them through and work out, what happened for you? How was that? So yeah, feel free to drop me a line and let me know how it was. What did you notice? Because yeah, it can be quite interesting. And for those of you who in the membership, you're going to be joining me 11:15 today, some of you, for a journaling workshop. We're just going to literally spend half an hour looking at morning pages, and we're going to talk about how to do some journaling. That's the type of journaling I do, which I find really useful because it's something that's been coming up for a few of us lately with everything that's going on in the world. So I will hopefully see you all on Monday at 7:15. Have a great weekend, Hannah and Claire, and everybody over in Facebook. I will see you all very soon. Take care.